Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Oh, welcome into a Football Friday. Buck fans are crying in their Cheerios, maybe pissing in their Cheerios. Kirk Cousins pissed in your Cheerios last night. That's for damn sure. Oh, the what's worse than the loss maybe is watching the celebration. I should have turned that off. If you're a Buck fan, you watch that shenanigans going on. Listen, we'd have done the same thing, but it was tough to watch. Oh, what a heartbreaking loss for the Buccaneers. But there is much to celebrate for Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans. What are you talking about, JP? Yeah, we'll do it. We got a different perspective on this game than probably most, but that's why you come here, right? We do stupid things. Good morning to him. How are you, my friend? From our Dallas affiliate, DSP Media. What's happening, brother?
Speaking of stupid things, let's throw it to Tim. So I was at the local watering hole covering the game, watching it on TV because kids had all my TVs used up here at the house. And thankfully, we had on the Mets Brewers literally right in front of me. I had Bucs.
What a finish.
Mets Brewers over
Tampa's
here.
Pete Alonso, who all Rays fans say, oh, he doesn't move the needle. We don't need Pete Alonso. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know we're going to get into that in a little bit, but I had the best of both sports worlds last night, and I had the stupid ending to my gamer story for the Bucs-Falcons game written 3 different times. All in the Bucs' favor, by the way.
Yeah, they had to do a lot of things to blow this game last night. They really, really did. And I'd like to also give a nice assist to the officials multiple times. Things we'll get into. But it's not a game where you can blame it on the officials. They made some terrible calls. They did some terrible things at the end of the game that did not help the Buccaneers. The overtime rule sucks. I don't care what you say. College overtime is way better. Got to get the football. And this is the perfect example. And we saw it in the Falcons Super Bowl where they lost 28-3. Those rules are all great. If you score a touchdown, if you win the toss, then it's fine. The defense is gassed. The defense is completely gassed. You have to give the other team a chance to put their offense on the field so their offense can hopefully win the game for them. The Bucs defense was completely depleted and completely gassed. As soon as they lost the toss, the game was over. And the Falcons had all the momentum. It's much easier to play offense than it is defense. So that sucked. There's so much about this game, so many plays, little details. We always hear players talk about the details, and I'm going to bring up 3 or 4, probably more than that, about the details on parts of the game that are critical. They're between winning and losing. And I'll start with the final play of regulation before they kicked the field goal. I just tweeted something out about it a second ago, and it's a slant pass by Drake London, and thankfully they weren't in zone again. That zone defense, just as Kenneth McCleary says right here, is it my imagination or did we run a shit ton of zone? And if we did, why didn't we get away from that? I don't know. He only threw for 370 yards in the middle of the field, mostly against zone.
By the way, you guys are allowed to cuss in the chat room there. It's okay.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Feel free to use your big boy words. Everyone else is today.
It's a beautiful, load them up. I don't care. You should be if you're a Bucs fan. So first of all, they're playing man, and this is probably why Bowles shied away from man. And their $17 million corner, Jamel Dean, is one-on-one with Drake London. Make a play. Make a effing play. And what does he do? He backpedals, stumbles. He's probably a little tired. Stumbles, gives Drake London about a 3 or 4 foot or yard cushion to catch the ball and run. Okay, you know what? Fine. You got 12 yards. You set up the field goal. Can you just lay on him? Lay on top of Drake London. Know the time and score. Somebody lay on him. You don't have to do it for 5 seconds and pin him to the ground like Kurt Angle. I'm not talking about just lay on him. 1 second is all you needed. Maybe even a half a second. But nobody, they jump off him like he's, got syphilis or something. And everybody runs to their spot. And it allows them to, the center comes up and spots the ball for the ref. They hands them, they listen, the Falcons executed it to perfection. So let me give them credit for that. They run to the ball, everybody sprinting to the ball. The center who took the ball. Now the runner, Drake London, should hand the ball to the official, and the official should spot the ball. That's the way it's supposed to happen. But no, the center takes the ball, spots it. Oh, I didn't know the center was allowed to spot the ball. Did you, Tim? Did you know this? That now the center can spot wherever he wants to, by the way.
Yeah, the Cowboys got screwed in that last year by losing the game. Yeah.
Exactly. I was thinking of that exact game. How's it supposed to work, Tim?
The player has to give the ball to the referee. The referee has to be the one to spot the ball, or it's not a valid play.
Right.
Ever.
So what did the referee do? The referee runs by and taps the ball. Taps it. Doesn't spot it where it's supposed to be spotted.
Because it wasn't in the right spot either, by the way.
No, it wasn't in the right spot. It wasn't in the right spot. And he just runs by and taps it. That's spotting. So the center can now decide where the ball is supposed to be spotted, and you just tap it and run by it? Come on now. That's not the way that's supposed to work. And by the way, Drake London wasn't set for a full second. Mm-hmm. There were 2 or 3 players along the line that were not set for a full count when they snapped that ball. Okay.
Because if they were, time would have run out.
Right.
Because there was a second left on the clock.
Or there's a penalty for illegal formation or illegal procedure, and the clock runs off. So either way, again, the Bucs should have played it better. They should have played it better. And these are details. In a situation like that, you know what you're supposed to do? Hold them up. You're supposed to hold them up. Tackle this, and these are details. Oh, JP, why are they going to think about that in a moment? Yes.
Yeah.
Great teams do.
It's their job.
It's their job. It's like 7 seconds left. Okay, if they throw this ball in the middle, we got to hold them up. Let time expire. That should have been a conversation. If Derek Brooks is in the huddle, that's a conversation. And Levante David, I'm sure, probably told somebody that, or maybe not. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But that should be a conversation. We got to, any way that we can elongate this and don't let them spot the ball, lay on the guy, hold him up. You hold him up for 1 more second or half a second, that play doesn't get off. The game is over. These are critical details. And the Bucs didn't do it earlier on the drive. The first play, they don't have any timeouts left. Keeping them in bounds is paramount. It is paramount. Kyle Pitts comes out. Zion McCollum has him. Kyle's about 5 yards in from the out of bounds marker. Zion comes up to the outside. They've got him pinned in. They've got him. You take him down. That's going to be another 10, 15 seconds that are run off while they come spot the ball and run another play. That comes up. It came down to 1 second. These details are critical. And you got to get him down in bounds. And you didn't. So many moments like this where the Bucs, and we'll go over a lot of them. But I want to say this as kind of a preamble. I talked about this all week long. You're coming off a game, and you had to be down on that field to feel what it was like to play 3.5 hours of football against the Eagles in 107, 110 degree feels like temperature. Okay. It's the NFL should be ashamed of themselves for keep scheduling these games in September. And then you turn around and the Bucs have to go and play 4 days later. Now, listen, I know the Falcons played on a short week too, but they played in a dome. Okay. It's a humongous difference to your body. Humongous difference. That's evident. Okay. And I don't want people, oh, you're a professional, but you don't be such, go play in an NFL game in 110 degree heat in full pads. Yeah. Go ahead and see how you feel You ready to play another game on Thursday? No, you're not. And I looked out there in that last drive, and here's who's rushing the passer. 58, 96, 98, and 90. While Kirk
Squad players
is patting the ball, and throwing it over the middle against the soft zone defense. This team was gassed. There was no Anton Winfield Jr. out there on that last play when our boy Kendall Hodge is running 41 yards down the middle of the field and nobody can tackle him because it's Kayvon Merriweather trying to catch him. Tyke Smith went out. As I mentioned, they're already out without Winfield. Whitehead's out as well. Both of your starting safeties are out, and the ball goes where? To the middle, and nobody can tackle them. Okay? Cansey is out. You are completely depleted, and all of those 16 guys that were on the list, the ones that played, are playing at about 70%. This team is decimated with injuries. Decimated.
Yeah,
and I know go ahead.
I was going to say, just to add to that, when your safeties are out like that, that should affect how the corners play their man across the middle of the field. When your corner knows I've got a couple of backups here at safety that I don't really have help with, maybe I'm not going to take as much of a risk going for the ball, and I'll just stay with the man and allow the 10-yard gain rather than the touchdown. Zion McCallum, who, again, I'm
trying to make a play, man.
I applaud the effort.
Yeah,
I applaud the effort 100%, but you got to know the situation in the game, and you got to, if you're going to do that, you got to be 1,000% sure you can make that play, and if you miss it, this is what happens. And again, valiant effort.
Listen, where he's making that possible breakup of the play, which he had gotten a couple of them early, got one over the middle, big play. They were trying to get to Ray McLeod. He got his hand in there. He tried to do it again. And I think I'm going to say, go ahead and try to make plays because the guys behind you, you got to make a play. And you got to tackle the guy. He's running a hook route at 12 yards. You've got, you're playing in that situation. That guy misses the tackle. There should be 4 guys there to make the tackle. And if you look at a couple guys run into each other, it was a convergence of a lot of different stuff. But also,
bad angles,
again, bad angles, but guys that are playing that should not be playing. My point is, and I'm not trying to make excuses for the Buccaneers, but there's a lot of good stuff they put out there last night. A ton of good stuff. They were put in a horrible position and almost won a divisional game. I said this yesterday. I said, if they win this game, this is going to be a humongous mental and physical achievement. But the chances are they won't because of this whole situation. And yes, did they play soft cover 2 defense and just let Kirk Cousins just destroy them in the middle of the field? Yes, they did. Did Bowles not react to that? Not as well as I would like. But I'm going to tell you this. He threw out every coverage, every blitz, everything he could. He's working with almost an entire backup defense. And when you put Drake London and Darnell Mooney out there and Kyle Pitts with a quarterback who's pretty damn accurate and pretty damn good, and Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, come on, man. You got to tip your cap to the Falcons. It's that they played well. They took advantage of what the Bucs gave them. And the Bucs almost still won the game. Should have won the game. A face mask call that is so blatantly obvious. How do you miss that? It's the ball carrier. He's not even in a crowd. It's a 4-yard hole. It's a linebacker reaching out his arm to make a tackle. The ball carrier's head snaps like he's in The Exorcist. And you can't see that? Holding on the offense. What? You forgot the other half. Personal foul, face mask on the defense. Offsetting penalties. 2nd and 13, still in field goal range. Come on. There's some face masks that are just, brush to the mask. Those even get called. This one, come on, dog. His head almost got taken off. It's grabbing the face mask in a hole 4 yards wide. How do you miss that? It's a game-changing call. Come on. We're better than that. And at the end of the game, you're letting the center spot the ball and running by and tapping it. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm not saying they wanted the Falcons to win. I'm saying, Jesus, do your freaking job. Do your freaking job. But again, I digress. There were so many plays that could have changed the outcome of this. And I give the Falcons a lot of credit. I mean, if I'm Todd Bowles, I come in and I say, and a lot of you people that lost money on the game or whatever are not gonna like this. But I say to my guys, that's a hell of an effort. That was one hell of an effort. You never stop playing. I look this up for me, Tim, if you can, real quick. I think it was 83 plays again on defense. Another 8, folks, that's ridiculous. You know, a typical game is 60 to 65 plays on defense. I don't know. I mean, that's where you're at. So this is two out of 3 weeks. They've run 83 plays on defense with a bunch of guys that should, not be playing a whole lot of football.
81 plays.
81 plays last night.
By the way, 81 offensive plays for the Falcons to 51 for the Bucs.
Yeah, that's that. And this is part of the problem of going, and I think the Bucs did go a little conservative in the second half. I think they could have taken some more shots down the field, and clearly there was one that they missed on that last drive where they threw the backside screen to Rachaad White, right? Last week, a couple weeks ago, y'all lost your minds when they tried to run a pass play, a little bootleg, and they saved the timeout at Detroit, right? Y'all lost your, why don't you run the football there? Right? Now the same people are losing their mind. How do you not see Mike Evans running deep there? How do you not hit him? Because you're not looking for a deep shot there. You're looking for a backside screen to hope you execute it well and get Rachaad White out on a safe play where you're not going to drop the football. The clock's going to run, get the ball to the perimeter, and see if you can make a play. I don't have a problem with the call. The execution, again, was bad. Cody Mock missed his man. They had a safety coming up that's probably not accounted for, blew up the play. They didn't execute it. You got to execute in those moments. But, yes, Mike Evans was wide open. But it's a lot to ask a quarterback in that situation to throw the ball deep, right? Then he drops it or he overthrows him. Excuse me, the clock stops, right? Now we're all bitching and moaning. So, they could have been a little bit more assertive, I think, in the second half offensively, but they did not. And
I mean, you scored 24 points in the first half. You get just 6 in the second half. That's not being aggressive very, very much.
No, they're not. And I don't think that there were great adjustments made because the Bucs moved the ball, but they had to settle for field goals. There were a lot of key situations offensively where they didn't make the play where they should have. Baker missed Shepard on a deep ball where he was wide open. Baker missed an easy out throw to Godwin that would have been a key first down. But, Baker had a good night. He only threw for 180 yards, though. And most of that came in the first half. So, yes, I think they could have been a little bit more aggressive in the second half and tried to score some more points. Bucky Irving's fumble. Listen, if I think it was Jesse Bates. If he doesn't hit that ball, Bucky Irvin's taking it to the house.
He might still be running.
He's taking because Jesse Bates was the last line of defense, and he wasn't going to make the tackle. He had overrun the play. He reached out his hand, punched, and just got lucky it was on the ball. Because if he doesn't punch that ball out, Bucky's gone, and that game is over. God, it's so, dude, it's such a millimeter every single play. So many of them.
And missed tackles, by the way. Let's not overlook.
And what is that a product of, Timmy?
Fatigue. Usually, yeah.
Absolutely. It's fatigue. And I don't, everybody wants these guys to be robots and have endless energy and play at 100 miles an hour every single play. It's not humanly possible, guys. And that team, I think the Bucs played hard last night. They did. I don't think necessarily they played super smart. But they played really, really hard, but they missed a lot of tackles. There was a lot of yak last night. That didn't happen against Detroit. It did happen a little bit against Philly the second half because it happened a lot against Denver because the guys were tired. They're tired. And now you could say, well, maybe we need a more stringent training camp to get them better condition. Okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
But that doesn't fix it when all of the guys that went to training camp that had that hard workout are all hurt and they're not on the field. That doesn't help any of that, which is the case here.
Yep, that's true. That's true. And that's what I said. I said it all week. This is going to be a tough ask of this team from a physical standpoint. All these guys that are injured and all the hard physical play they've had. So I'm looking at my guys and going, that was a hell of an effort, guys. We almost got a huge road win in division, but you guys gave me everything you can, and now we're going to go get healthy. We got a really, really good football team here. The offense is coming together. I didn't do a great job calling the game in the second half, although I feel for Bowles because you're looking down at your play sheet and you're going, well, if I call this, I got, Kayvon Merriweather in the back end. Is that going to leave me exposed for a touchdown? If I call this, are we going to get any penetration up front rushing 4 and I'm trying to cover back and cover the middle? I mean, you're trying to make calls when you don't have the personnel out there that are key to these calls.
Right.
So, and you could say next man up all you want, but it doesn't work that way. The matchups matter. And Kirk Cousins really freaking good at exploiting that stuff. Now, I think they could have done something to take away the middle of the field a little bit more. The constant zone and Cousins knows exactly where maybe disguise it better, do something better. You just can't allow 509 yards passing. You got to make an adjustment, somehow make them do something different. And I didn't see a lot of that. I saw a lot of the same soft stuff that gets them beat every single time. They did the same thing against the Broncos, and it never freaking works. If you got, like that last play where McCullum knocked the ball away over the middle of the Ray. He's playing man to man there. Okay, at least you got somebody near the ball, the receiver. These ends behind the linebackers, in front of the safeties, like time and time and time and time again. The tight end up the seam, time and time and time. I mean, Kyle Pitts had no catches last week. He had 8 catches last night. I mean, you got to be better. You got to be able to take away what they're doing and make an adjustment. So I will say that's fair criticism of Todd Bowles today. But again, there's a lot of guys out there that in zone defense is a lot of nuance. And clearly KJ Britt's not great at it. He's not great at, and the safeties were not good at reacting when the wideouts cut their routes off. You got to be closer to him. Zone defense doesn't mean you can't be close to the receiver. When he comes in your area, blanket him. Go get him. It's your zone. Go get the guy. Don't sit there and freaking watch. You got to be more aggressive if you're going to play zone defense, and they were not. So there's a lot. I think there's a lot of good on this tape. Logan Hall with a couple of sacks looked like a man possessed last night. I'm like, yeah. Kirk Herbstreit's going, oh, he's long and he's strong. I'm like, yeah, been that way for 4 years. He ain't done squat, But he came out of his shell last night. Vita Vea with another big sack. Anthony Nelson with a big sack. Levante David gets a huge interception in that moment. And, some say you should have knocked it down. I get that. That's 4th down. I think he may have seen a little bit of daylight. He's coming forward. And that, that if he makes that first guy miss, that ball could be down around the 5-yard line or he might score. So in that sense, he's moving forward. If that was going through his mind, I could return this. Okay, good. But it is 4th down. They would have got the ball at the 21 instead of the 27. I think he took it back to the 27 or 28. So I don't think it was a huge difference. The bigger thing there is the lack of the face mask call. And you're moving backwards, You ran the ball a couple times for no gain. You lost a couple yards on the first one because they're coming up hard to play the run. The safeties are coming up hard. So, it's a lot of detailed stuff that lost them that last game, the game last night. But, and it's a huge game. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you get a win on the road in division against the Falcons. That would have been a huge win.
It would have been a 2-game lead in the division over the Falcons.
2-game lead in the division. I mean, that's huge.
But now you're
I get it. But it's a long season. It's a long season, guys. And I think I saw more positives than negatives last night in a lot of different ways. And I think that's the way the Bucs have to treat it. And that's the way they have to I think fans should look at it. This was a great football game last night. It was a great freaking football game against 2 rivals. A lot of big-time plays, including from the Bucs. Mike Evans with 2 touchdowns, great throws by Baker. The beginning of the game. Godwin was fantastic. Kate Otten was really good. Bucky was good, except for that particular fumble. Rashad White was great, rips off a 56-yard run. So there was a lot of good stuff last night. They got some pressure from guys that don't normally get pressure. They had a great chance to win this game. But again, it comes down to the details. It comes down to the details, those little minute details that the Bucs did not execute in the moment, and it cost them a game. So you pick yourself up, you get healthy. You got 10 days now. Winfield's coming back. Cansey, hopefully, good God, it's coming back. Luke Gedeke is coming back. They need to get guys healthy. And even the guys that are nicked up need to feel better. So you got 10 days to get better. Then you're going to go to the Saints, and you need to get a win. And it's a game that's eminently winnable. So I think if you're a Bucs fan right now, it sucks. It hurts. It really does. Watching Kirk Cousins, and you like that, all that BS and the Falcons dancing and all that. And okay, you went and got Kirk Cousins. Yeah, we were like, Kirk Cousins. Look, it's a long season. They got to come here. They got games they got to play. They're a good football team. We're not surprised by this. Kirk Cousins makes them a good football team. He's, like we said, you got to have a quarterback that you're confident will bring you back in the last 2 minutes. Can he do it? Yes, Kirk Cousins can do it. You know who else can do it? Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield can do it as well. So let's go. We lost a football game, overtime. It's a learning experience. Good for them. Let's go. There's a lot of season left. And I think,
by the way, it's probably a good sign for the Bucs that the Falcons were so overly enthusiastic about the win, celebrating like they just won the freaking Super Bowl.
Champagne or whatever the hell they're doing in the freaking locker room.
Because you know why? Because they hit the road against the Panthers next week. And maybe, just maybe, they're still riding the high of the Bucs win. And you overlook a much improved Panthers team with Andy Dalton at quarterback.
That's a good point. If it wasn't 10 days, 10 days, you should be able to reset everything. But no, I like it. I like where that's coming from.
I'm just saying. And by the way, also, when your top two tacklers on your team are Tyke Smith and Zion McCollum, defensive backs, that probably means you're allowing too many passes.
Yeah.
And you're not pressuring the quarterback enough.
Yeah. There was, even though they got some sacks last night, he had way too much time. I mean, those routes over the middle of the field take some time. So what's the adjustment? You blitz more, and you go man. And if they beat you, they beat you. I just hate I hate death by 1,000 paper cuts. I freaking hate that. I just, stab me in my freaking heart and get it over with.
Yeah.
I can't stand that soft zone. It makes me. Stop it. It's just, that's what I'm looking when I'm watching the game. I'm just like, somebody do something. I've played sports. You play sports. You get me once. I'm like, okay. All right.
But over and over. It's so
the next time that guy hooks behind me, I'm going to get a little deeper drop and I'm going to pick that motherfucker off. Nope. Nope. Damn it. They did it again. Damn it. And the safety's like right in front of you.
Yeah.
Make him have it play.
Oh, Lord.
All right. We'll take a break. We're going to switch gears a little bit. Scott Carter's going to join us for our Jeeves Law Group Gator Report. Big game in Gainesville tomorrow. Will Billy Napier walk out with his job or maybe something else? We shall see. The Jeeves Law Group, folks, if you have any issues with your insurance company during the rebuild after this horrific storm, call the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They can help you out. They'll do a free case evaluation. Tell them JP sent you. And there's going to be a lot of shenanigans going on with insurance companies. So make sure you are well represented. It's worth it. Big money involved here. JeevesLawGroup.com. Back in 3 with Scott Carter. Stay with us. September is here, and it's time to celebrate with the stunning birthstone of the month. It's Sapphire at the Gold and Diamond Source. Known for their natural beauty and glamorous allure, Sapphire's truth, sincerity, and faithfulness make it the perfect stone for September. During the 40th anniversary, you can find a special selection of this precious gemstone, from stunning rings and necklaces to elegant earrings and bracelets. Steve Weintraub handpicks every piece for its brilliance and its quality. The expert staff will help you find the perfect gift, whether it's for a loved one, a special occasion, or just to treat yourself. Visit the Gold and Diamond Source today, where you'll always find the perfect gift. It's more than jewelry, it's love. At the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the J.P. Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance, make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right, that's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and his staff will get you right with your testosterone levels, your hormone levels, whatever you need there, ladies or men. And, of course, nutrition, get your workout right, a personalized plan to keep you healthy, not just get healthy if you get sick, but keep you healthy. That's the plan at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Go to the website, get an appointment right there, and change your life in terms of your health and who is your advocate. Very important these days. All right, we are awaiting Scott Carter to jump on in here.
Did you see the charity thing for hurricane relief that Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield have joined together?
Yeah, I saw that. That was nice.
It's the Team Rubicon Hurricane Helene Relief Fund. It's a veteran-led and veteran-owned, veteran-run organization, and they both donated $50,000 each to the for $100,000 donation. And of course, they were out asking for like donations for stuff like that for at the game and on TV locally in Atlanta and there in Tampa, from what I understand. And pretty good deal for those boys. I understand they're I hate to say friendly, but you come together for something like that, right?
Oh God, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's what and it's fun. You saw him at the end of the game. They got together and Baker had a huge smile on his face, and he said something to him. And look, I don't have any problem with that. Those guys are balling out. They're giving every little bit. Sometimes I get pissed off like on a tough loss like that if you're joking around afterwards. It depends on who it is. I know Baker Mayfield's going to take that one hard. I know he's going to take it really, really hard. But yeah, it's great that they're all coming together for this. And Baker has been so good in the community. He's been so good since he got here in donations. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this all hooked up with Scott.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, they've done such a tremendous job on so many levels. So really appreciate what he has done. I'm looking at him. I'm sending him the email, so he should have it. That's my bad though. I did it late today because I was so worked up about the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I will tell you, I had a flashback moment to our Texas Rangers World Series though. Watching a little bit of Mets Brewers when Alonso hit that
I didn't
home
see
run.
any of that game. Tell me a little bit about that game last night.
So, I mean, you had, it's best of 3, which, for the wild card round, I guess I don't really have a problem with. I hate best of 3 series, but
Yeah,
you really want to watch teams battle it out in a best of 7 in a wild card round or best of 5 maybe, but it's a best of 3. So first 1 to 2 wins. Series was tied 1-1, pretty hard fought series. I'm kind of pulling for the Mets. I kind of feel like they're New York's version of the Rangers. Just, they're just sort of the dog of the city and of all of that. They don't get the love that the Yankees get. And so I was kind of pulling for the Mets. And, for Pete Alonso, obviously, with the Mets now.
Right.
But when it's a pitcher's duel going into the 7th, 0-0. No scoring at all in this game until the Brewers put up 2 in the 7th.
It's good playoff baseball.
Bottom half of the 7th. The stadium's going nuts. The players are going nuts because pitching has held up. And we get to the top of the 9th. The Mets' last chance. They score 4 runs with 1 out.
4 runs?
4 runs.
But they're down 2-1.
They're down 2-0.
I mean, they're down.
In the series, they're down. It's tied 1-1. So first 1 to 2 wins. And when Alonso hit that home run that put them at the time ahead 3-1, it was a 3-run shot. His reaction as soon as he hit the ball reminded me so much of Corey Seager's game 1 that tied the game.
Oh, right.
Against the Diamondbacks, with his screaming and his just yelling at the dugout. Alonso did the same thing. It kind of gave me chills watching it. I was like, man, this is their moment. And
I saw the highlight, and I'm like, and you think about it, they're not going to give him anything over the plate so that he can pull and hit. So he has to go outside the zone and hit a line drive over the fence. Right where the fence turns in a little bit. Good golly. A lot of things had to happen for that to happen. And so happy for Pete Alonso, who obviously isn't entering free agents. And I think the Rays should empty their bank account to which for them is not much.
Well, he has a big
they have a huge bank account, but the disposable side and savings, they have a ton. Checking, they keep very little.
If Alonso has a big postseason like he's having already through the wild card, then he's going to be high in demand come off season. So get your checkbooks ready.
That's what big hitters do in the playoffs, folks.
Yep.
You put a bunch of single hitters in your lineup that you don't pay very much, you don't score.
They got Corey Seager and Marcus Semien, $500 million here in Arlington. So
that's how you get a World Series, right?
There you go. Yep.
There you go. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. I apologize, my friend, for the late link send. My bad. I was all worked up over the Bucs loss last night. How you doing, partner?
Hey, doing well, guys. Good to be here, man. Yeah, I was. I didn't see Pete's home run last night live, but that guy, man, I still remember when he was here. He was kind of an under the radar kid, kind of a goofy kid, and
soft spoken.
Just kind of under the radar. Good player. I remember a couple of home runs he hit in Omaha one year.
Yeah.
I mean, they were mammoth shots. and then to see him, explode like he has, it's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I almost forgot he was a Florida Gator there for a second. We always think playing high school here in Tampa. Then I'm like, yeah. He went to Florida as I played in the College World Series. Did he win? Did they win the College World Series that year?
No, his last season was 16, and they won it the next year. But they were there in 15 and 16 and almost got to the championship. And again, I remember I think he may still hold the longest home run at TD. Well, it used to be TD Ameritrade Park. I don't know what they call it now, but it was like
Trevor American Park.
Yeah, he had a bomb out there, man.
Yeah. He's a hell of a player, and I know he ain't perfect, but he plays a pretty good first base, which the Rays could use, and a big bat in the middle of the lineup. And I don't think since Doug Wechter, we've never had really a hometown kid to cheer for. I may be forgetting somebody. Brett,
Matt Joyce came through.
Then Matt Joyce came through, yes, and Doug Wechter, and the other, the one that had the World Series hit. Baseball is fun. Why can't I remember his name? Anyway, but to bring Pete back and a power hitter that we need, that we've never had, a professional power hitter in the middle of the lineup would be awesome to see. So if we just drafted Florida Gators, or local kids, if the Rays did that, they just stuck to like a 90-mile radius around the city and just drafting, they'd be the best. They've won 10 World Series by now.
Brett Phillips is who you were thinking of.
Brett Phillips. Thank you.
Brett Phillips. Yes, Brett Phillips. He did more. Remember back when I covered the Rays, JP, we had guys like Elijah Dukes. He didn't
Elijah Dukes. Yeah. I won't put him in the star category.
He had some issues, but
yes, he did. A nice little start. Remember, he had a couple of big home runs. Yeah, but then he started hanging with the wrong crowd, and that didn't hurt. Or maybe he was the wrong crowd. I don't know.
Tampa Bay has always been a great baseball area. That's why I was always hopeful that the Rays will stick around, which it looks like they will. But you're right, man. And the Gators, they got three guys on the Mets: Danny Young, the reliever, and Harrison Bader, the center fielder. If Gator fans will be rooting for similar colors, I'm sure throughout the playoffs.
They don't have to change their colors, right? Exactly. Good stuff. All right, but we're talking football here. It's a big game, obviously, for Billy Napier and the entire program, and not quite what we expected. I think we all thought UCF would take care of prime time, but clearly UCF was not ready for prime time or Colorado and got their ass beat. So now Gator fans are like, what? Now the pressure's really on Billy Napier, right? It's like, you don't beat this slack, daddies. Yeah. Then you got trouble. So how big of a game is this for the Gators in Napier?
I mean, it's huge. There's no other way to say it. I think, every game's big when you're in the situation like they are, but now you're dealing with some optics that were different than, certainly the loss to Texas A&M. And even though the Miami is a similar in-state opponent, a rivalry game in the traditional sense, UCF, you got to remember, JP, they've only been to the Swamp twice.
Right.
And last time was, I think, in 2006. And they were a different program back then.
Right.
Now they're, a lot of people are looking at them kind of on almost even ground with Florida. So the last time they played was down in Tampa at the Gasparilla Bowl. UCF won that game in 2021, and now they can even the all-time series by coming up here and winning. So without question, it's a big game for a lot of reasons, but most importantly, just for the Gators and where they are as a program. I don't know. You just can't lose this game, I think, for Billy Napier, unfortunately. And I'm not certain what would happen afterward. I'm hearing a lot of stuff. But it's just one of those games you got to win.
You got to win it and play well. Play well. Don't do stupid stuff. That's what really gets coaches fired when you do stupid stuff. Unless you have a $62 million buyout.
Last week. UCF losing that game with Colorado, 4 turnovers. Man, I mean, it changed the whole game.
I can't do it. Or running the slowest quarterback in history of quarterbacks twice into the line. On 3rd and 4th down. That's pretty stupid too. But anyway, I see my FSU Dublin shirt is on today, by the way, if you missed it.
I'm
still representing, even though it's disastrous. So this week off, but first of all, we haven't talked to you since the Mississippi State win. And I think Mississippi State's not a great team. We get that. But you went in there and did what you were supposed to do. You put up 42 points. You win by 2 touchdowns. Lagway, Mertz, everybody looks good. You're scoring the football. What do they take away from that game? And then you get an off week. So they shouldn't – this is a great setup for this game, right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, they got some momentum back. I think, got Mertz back into a rhythm at quarterback. And when you look at the 2-quarterback system, it seems like they never work out as you think they might or as coaches hope they do. But I thought it worked out perfectly out there. You had Graham Mertz going 19 of 21, 3 touchdown passes. DJ Lagway got spot duty. He finished 7 out of 7, had some rushing yards. Nice. So the offense kind of rediscovered its identity, I think, out there. Got a lot of the young running backs involved, racked up, I think, 503 yards. So, again, they're not playing a great team, but you saw Mississippi State go out to Texas last weekend. Yeah. And, they kept it respectable. So, anytime you go on the road in the SEC and win a game,
absolutely,
it's accomplishment. So, during the bye week, they really turned up the intensity, because I think when you look at this Gators team right now where it is, the offense, I think, can win you some games. It's not going to, score 40 or 50 points a game, but it's good enough to win you some games. The defense is the real area, JP. I mean, they're ranked 113th nationally out of 134 FBS schools. Mm-hmm. They're in the lower half in every major statistical category. And so since the win at Mississippi State, a lot of Billy Napier's discussion during the media press conferences has been, how do you get that fixed? And, he's pointing to, alignment, a lot of, fundamentals, a lot of these general terms coaches use. But I think the biggest thing is they just got to tackle. They've got to be more aggressive, and they got to look like they want to make some plays. And that's what it's going to take. And, it's hard to talk. It's hard to make a defense something that's not mid-season. Right. You are what you are. You have the players you have to work with. So I know they're trying to tighten up some things in their processes. They even have players wearing microphones and earphones in practice this week, just to get their communication on film so they can study. You obviously can't do that during a game other than one player, but they put it on multiple guys so the coaches and the players could hear how well they're actually communicating and stuff like that. So they're hoping to maybe some of those little changes.
Interesting.
Big results.
These are, the whole opening monologue was about how details really matter. In the Bucs game last night, those little details matter. Communication is really not a detail, but it is depending on, each and every play. One word here or 2 words there changes the whole thing. It keeps the coverage from getting busted. So that's great. I'm just interested, and I don't even know if you know the answer to this question, because I don't know how much access you get in the media there, but do they practice tackling in Florida, tackling to the ground? I mean, because they don't do that at Florida State. They don't tackle to the ground. They have spotters in their tackling drills in case somebody might be going down. The coach will grab them before they hit the ground. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Do they tackle to the ground? Is that something they did this week maybe and said, maybe we used to do this,
Yeah, they turned it up after the Texas A&M game. But no, early in the season in camp, I mean, there's not a lot of tackling to the ground in practice. That's a big change in college football, I think, in football in general. And I think what we're seeing now, because that trend obviously started a few years ago and it spread more and more. And I think what we're seeing is a less physical brand of football. Then that's why you see such poor tackling in games. So,
sure.
I get the reasons why, you're concerned about preserving their long-term health throughout the season, but the game is a physical game, and you just can't do it without being a tackler. So I don't know how the sport and that trend is going to reconcile, because you can't have one or the other.
No, you can't. And you look at those, you play like you practice. And if you're not tackling to the ground, you got bad tackling teams. Right. They don't do it in the pros. And I kind of get that, because, you got guys making big money. You want to protect them. but they already know how to tackle. If they're in the NFL, they're good
Yeah.
tacklers. And that's why in college, I'm like, when I heard that, I was like, how do you learn how to tackle then? If you're not practicing tackling in practice, how do you learn how to tackle? At what point in the game? That's it. Just when you're in a game. I don't get that. Don't understand it. I mean, maybe there's more involved than I know about, but that doesn't, especially if you're a bad tackling team. The first thing I would do the next day of practice is like, okay, boys, we're tackling today, and for the rest of the season, we're going to be tackling. Because how many guys are going to get injured being tackled? It shouldn't be, Then they probably need to get used to being tackled as well.
I agree totally. And I think
Crazy.
That's the mentality we carried.
Yeah. So what about the injury situation? Trey Wilson coming back. Who's back this week? Who's not playing?
Trey Wilson did get back in at practice earlier this week. They're hopeful on him. Otherwise, big injuries. I mean, you've got some guys who we're kind of just waiting to see. I mean, it's kind of game to game with some of these guys. Joyce Slackman, the defensive lineman, he's been banged up. Billy, he's with this new – I mean, he was really good his first couple of years and kind of laying out, who's available and who's not. That's really changed this season with I think
funny how that works.
And also with the new player availability reports. But see, when you play out of conference like this week, they don't have to do that. So it's only for SEC only games. So we got that against A&M. Now we're not going to get that this week. So with the bye week in between, so there's a lot of questions. But I think the biggest one is Trey Wilson, and he did acknowledge that he returned to practice this week.
That's
so
huge.
That's certainly a big play.
Yeah, because it looks like this UCF defense is not very good. You saw what Shador and Travis Hunter, and obviously these are great players, but I think there's going to be some available opportunities, especially in the passing game. And you got some young receivers that are starting to play some good football. Talk about some of the other kids besides Trey.
Yeah, I mean, against Mississippi State, you had Aiden Mizell have a really good game.
Yep.
He's been talked about a lot since he got to Florida because of his speed. But he finally, unfortunately, had a great run that was called back from a penalty, a run after a catch for 65 yards, and it got called back. But he's someone that, they're looking to build more of the offense around. A couple of the guys who came in the transfer portal, Elijah Badger and Shamiri Dike, both of those guys are coming along nicely. I think they're getting more comfortable with the offense and what they're doing. And then the tight ends, JP, Arliss Sportingham and Hayden Hanson, both younger guys, both had touchdown catches against Mississippi State. That is something that Billy Napier has always wanted to utilize the tight ends in his offense.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing more of that. And he's got some talent there. And I thought the most important factor of their performance at Mississippi State, I thought the offensive line protected well. And again, some of that may have been against the competition, but we've seen them play poorly against good and bad competition. So I looked at it as a positive sign for Florida.
Yeah. All right. So what do we need to know fan-wise getting up there? I heard a lot of UCF fans have bought tickets, expecting about 20,000 from the visiting the folks. What about Gator fans? Are they enthused about this? What do we got?
Yeah, I think it's a sold out, the 9th straight sellout at the Swamp, JP. And that's one thing that's impressed me because the fans are still coming out. And you're right, there's going to be more UCF fans there than normally would for a Florida UCF game. Again, it's only the 3rd time in history that UCF's played up here, and the last time was in, like I said earlier, in 2006. So it's been 18 years. Obviously, you saw a lot of the reaction after UCF beat Florida in the Gasparilla Bowl down there. I mean, for them, it was kind of like a huge moment in the program's history, their first ever win. So now they're trying to make it 2 in a row. Right. Let's face it, Gator fans, that's the last thing they want to see on Saturday night at the Swamp. They're looking to just get a win, be their 2nd in a row, and then they start this really difficult stretch starting up in Knoxville next week at Tennessee. So they need this win. If they get it, I think things will stay status quo just week by week. If they don't get it, I don't know, JP. We'll find out. We'll find out something soon, I think.
These are delicate times for Florida and Florida State, clearly. And USF's got a big game coming up against Memphis next week. They're off this week. So it's, as we've discussed before, it's historical how bad Florida State and Florida are in the same season. And I think Mike Norvell certainly would be on the hot seat if it were not for his buyout, as bad as the team has been this week. So it's still befuddling to me that these two programs are where they are, because it's not that they're 500, they're much worse than that. Florida's been struggling for a while, and Florida State had a couple of great seasons, but that seems to be a little bit something that their foundation is shaky. There's no question. It should not be this way, Scott, as we have a larger discussion with my garnet on and your orange on. The amount of resources that these two programs have, the recruiting that's available in this state, and clearly Mike Norvell is not recruiting this state from a high school standpoint like he should be. And I think it's the biggest problem in the program right now. What these coaches are getting paid, my Lord, you cannot be losing to some of these teams that you're losing to. And there's no excuse for it. So that's why there's so much pressure. You hate guys, talking about guys losing their jobs, but to whom much is given, much is expected, and they ain't meeting the challenge. None of these staffs, or either one of these staffs, all these assistant coaches are getting paid ridiculous amounts of money. And I don't even know if these teams are practicing. The FSU doesn't look like they practice at all. And it's not acceptable. And I know there are bigger problems in the world, but these two programs should not be struggling with the resources they get. It's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. And and it comes down to, it's the coaching, that's all you can point to. The players are the players, and everybody's got a chance to recruit these guys and put their teams together. And so you got to organize them. You got to coach them up. And both of these guys are not getting the job done. Simple as that, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. What they're combined right now, 3-6, is acceptable. And JP, I look at college football. We all know it's in this transition period, but it's also at a crossroads. I could talk a lot about Florida, and I could talk about Florida State because I'm aware of both schools and their histories. And what I don't understand, if I'm an AD in today's world, I understand that you have to produce with your football program. That's what keeps the fan base engaged. That's what makes the money. But why are you spending so much money on these coaches? Norvell's a perfect case, and so is Napier. Napier got a 7-year contract, which I think raised a lot of eyebrows.
7 years.
When he got hired. And then Florida State gave Norvell the huge extension. And my thinking is, okay, if he's really wanting to leave, that's fine. I'll get me a new coach, because let's face it, there's a lot of coaches right now in America who can have Florida State 1-4, right?
Oh God, yeah.
A lot less money.
I'm pretty sure I could do that.
Yeah. So, it's just I think there's just got to be a better decision making top to bottom. But going back to your main point about Florida and Florida State, and you hit on it, and I think it's part of Florida's problem too. You have to recruit the state of Florida.
Yes.
You have to develop those players. That's what these obviously after the 90s, the rest of college football, especially the Ohio States, Michigans, Penn States, they're like, we got to start getting Florida guys.
That's right.
But Florida State, they're still getting a lot of those guys, but you have to get the best of the best. And that in today's world, that means they're going to cost you some money. But that's what you have to do. So I just think there's a gap between reality and where those schools are. And, I know Florida State's had more recent success than Florida, so they obviously figured a couple of things out last season. But then if you're going to live and die in the transfer portal, you're going to have a season like this season. So to me, you got to – I think Billy Napier's tried to do it that way, to have your core, your team through the recruiting ranks, and then supplement that with the transfer portal. But what I think kind of impacted them negatively, they haven't gotten that top level of Florida recruit. And that's what you have to get. So we'll see. We're all we can all see the problems, obviously, in the win-loss record. And I know to fix it, it's going to take a little time, I think. And I don't know if we'll ever see it like it once was. Probably not, JP. But I'd sure like to cover a Florida State game where both of them were like in the top 5 or 6 again. It's been a long time, man.
You know, it's interesting. I saw a little thing at the bottom of the screen of the Georgia Alabama game, and it said it's something to the effect of this is like the 5th time these two teams have been ranked in the top 5 or top 10 matchup, in a row. And it said the last time that happened was Florida and Florida State for, I think it said almost 14 years or something. There was a 13-year stretch. Amazing. And, you know, it's a great point that you make about NIL and transfer portal and all that. And yes, it has changed it dramatically. And maybe this is kind of a transition time where you have two programs that maybe haven't done it the best way. Everybody's still searching. I'll give some grace to the coaching staffs for that, because it's a lot of change and everybody's trying to figure out how it works. That said, when Bobby Bowden and Steve Spurrier and the programs were in their heyday, they had solid connections with all of the major high school programs around the state of Florida. I mean, you went into the, Jesuit high school and you'd ask them, hey, who's your Florida State guy? And they say, oh, it's the XYZ, George Henshaw, or, or it's Mark Richt or whoever it is, They recruited their asses off, and they knew, and they not only were they weren't going by lists, they were watching players. They were putting the assistant coaches were putting the eyes on guys and going down there and watching them in Immokalee, in Belglade, in all these places. They weren't relying on, some, JJ recruiter on Rivals 247. No offense to anybody. They went and watched them. And that's what it takes. It takes football coaches to put eyes on players and make solid evaluations. I don't care if they're 3-star or 5-star. Go down and watch them play. And there's not enough of that going on anymore. They have not recruited the time and the effort and the relationships with these coaches. I mean, remember when Castle was at Lakeland and Spurrier was there, it was a pipeline. And Urban Meyer, it was a pipeline. Everyone, and that's what it takes. You got to build up these relationships with these high school coaches. And I know Florida State's not doing it. I don't know what Florida's doing, but Florida State's not doing it. And they need to radically change the way they go about their recruiting.
No, I agree 100%. I think that's probably multifaceted. One reason is it's almost as if assistant coaches and these staffs anymore, they're just kind of mercenaries. They come and go, and there's really no time to develop relationships.
Exactly.
And so that's number one problem. And number two, I think it's almost like they're making more money than ever. Communication is easier than ever. But I think the detailed work that goes into all this is less than ever. Yeah. And it's really
easy to send a text message, or do a Zoom. I don't have to go down there. I don't have to go to his game.
But it says something like, to hop in your car or whatever and go through the high schools and see these people in person. And, I can only imagine as an evaluator, I mean, we've seen enough football. We know what good players look like. But you see a person in person, you talk to them, and you see them walk, and you see them interact. You just learn so much more than a little clip on the internet, So I think that's where some of the people in the profession and the coaching world, there's some hard evaluations of their industry that almost needs to go on right now. So
I totally agree. All right, Scotty, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game tomorrow. What time is game time tomorrow?
7:45 kickoff. So we got a late one, and there's supposed to be, I think, some weather early in the game. So maybe some rain. So it could be an interesting night at the Swamp. Well, it's going to be an interesting night either way, JP.
That's right. And all around college football. Yeah, FSU is going to be spanked by Clemson around 7 o'clock tomorrow night. It is tomorrow night. So, and we got Florida going at it, and big games all over the place. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it, buddy.
Take care. Bye-bye.
FloridaGators.com. You see all his work there. Yeah, it's I covered that FSU team from 87 to 95. And then covered them as not in Tallahassee, but from afar after that. And Bobby had almost the same exact coaching staff for 14 years. They were in the top 5 for 14 straight years. Record it still stands, and I don't know if it'll be broken at the end of the season, by the way. So, but there was, God, I could probably go through the whole damn coaching staff. Most of them became head coaches at one point. Mark Richt Chuck Amato, George Henshaw, Brad Scott, Mickey Andrews, of course, on defense. Who are some of the other defensive coaches? Coach Chest Amato was the defensive line coach. Coach Burnham was the linebacker coach, Pat's father. I mean, they were there forever. They were there, and they had all these relationships with all these high school teams and high school coaches, and they went and saw these guys play, and they recruited Florida. I mean, if they had 29 in the recruiting class, 27 were from Florida. It was very rare to have anybody outside of Florida. You didn't need to.
It's a different time now.
Yeah, and now all these other teams come down there, and these kids don't grow up Florida State fans anymore like they used to, or Florida fans. Now they're Michigan fans. Now they're Georgia fans. Now they're Bama fans. They grow up with that stuff because they haven't, back in the day, it's all you could see on TV was Florida State, Florida, Miami. That's what you got your local TV. So times have changed. I'm not ignorant to that, but I think they've lost sight of what makes this state special in terms of football, and that's why you go look at the rosters, and it's way too many kids from outside of Florida, in my opinion.
Sure.
So anyway, all right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, and we're going to talk some fantasy football with Jeff Thidoff, right? Tito's going to join us, right? Thidoff is going to join us.
That's at 11:30.
Yes, 11:30. So we got our picks coming up, right?
Yep, picks.
All right,
and I got a funny AL East X post troll for you on the other side.
Ooh, okay, great. Some baseball coming your way as well. We got some Caitlin Clark stuff that we need to do. Some lightning stuff we need to do as well. So we're brought to you by Italiano Insurance. Hey, folks, as you know, you got to have flood insurance. Many people did not. And you got to have it. It's separate from your homeowner's insurance. So get it now if you don't have it, even if you think you'll never be flooded. There's a lot of people that thought that, and it's bad news. 813-877-7799. Get it now before it goes through the roof, folks. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Back in 3. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best in the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, You can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at rogersparkgolf.net. That's rogersparkgolf.net. See you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Hey, if you got any old gold jewelry or diamonds laying around, you want to get some money for them, get some cash money, maybe go invest that for something good in your future. It's just sitting there, right? Well, the Gold and Diamond Source is the place to go. They will give you a great price for your jewelry. Hey, do some shopping there. Turn your old stuff into new stuff. That's a good idea, right? So if you want to buy something for your sweetie, just sneak in there, grab some. Don't do that. Might have sentimental value, even though she doesn't wear it. Ask first. You sold it? Yeah, don't do that. I'm just kidding. But take it to the Gold and Diamond Source and get her permission first. Or maybe some stuff you have. You got some old cufflinks or an old watch or something that you don't wear anymore. See what it's worth. Take it down to the Gold and Diamond Source, and they'll give you a price for it.
A couple of old wedding rings from some ex-marriages.
You've got plenty of those laying around, right?
No, I already sold them.
Yeah, of course you did. Yeah, that was one of the first things to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at this thing in my jewelry box going, what the hell do I need that thing for? Oh.
Traded him for beer money.
Yeah.
Which was ironic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? That's how you got there in the first place.
How I got there.
It's like recycled. Oh, whatever. Golden Diamond Source. Go to the Golden Diamond Source and get your sweetie something nice or get yourself something nice. And by the way, a lot of scammers out there right now. Don't buy a diamond online, for God's sakes, folks. No matter how many fake reviews you read about the site, you'd have no idea what you're freaking getting, and you're going to send all that money. Nope. Go to a trusted source, the Gold and Diamond Source, doing business for over 40 years. Julie and Steve Weintraub over there. So go there and tell them JP sent you. All right, let's get to some of the great comments today. I don't forget our commenters here.
Can I get to my AL East thing real quick?
Yes, commenters. Yes.
I'll even get our commenting music going here under this,
okay.
So people know that they're coming. So, as everyone that follows baseball playoffs probably know, the Royals ousted the Orioles.
Right.
So then this was posted in response to something the Orioles posted on X. The Orioles posted on X. The Royals responded with this. So on the left there is the Orioles post. And then the Royals followed it up with that on the right, with them sitting on their throne with the orange Oriole bird feathers floating around.
Oh, nicely done.
And they crossed out where it says seats taken and it says series taken.
Oh, nicely done.
I love social media trolls between teams and stuff like that, you know.
It is good stuff, isn't it? And
I love that.
Very, some lighthearted, some not. Yeah.
If you guys don't follow Wendy's, the fast food chain on X, then you should. Because there is not a more trolling organization than Wendy's. Whoever runs the Wendy's social media team, they're incredible. They're not making enough money because all they do is troll other fast food places.
Really?
Oh, my God. It is amazing, dude. Yes. You have to follow Wendy's.
I will
even turn on the alerts, man, because they'll even respond as a like on the official account. They'll even respond to if someone does I went into Wendy's, but McDonald's is just so much better or something. They'll even respond to stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Wendy's is way of the big. Is there a big three? Is there a big three?
It would be McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's, right?
Right. If there's a big three, I think
here in Texas we have a lot of Whataburgers. I don't know if y'all have those in Florida or not, but
but I think from a international standpoint, I think that's the
certainly
big three.
Wendy's. Yeah.
And of those three, Wendy's is by far the best.
Not even close. Correct.
I would think.
And then I would put Burger King second.
Burger King second. The flame broiled double cheese, the old one, not the new mini one that they have. Have you ever seen the new double cheeseburger? It's like
tiny. It's like a slider.
Yeah, it's like it's not even. What are you doing?
I just always stick with the Whopper. Whopper with cheese, jalapenos. You got to go double Whopper. Yeah, with the double. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the single Whopper, that little
thin patty. Yeah,
no, you got to go double Whopper. Absolutely,
you are correct.
You're going to do it absolutely like a double, the Wendy's double. The single is just not enough.
Nope.
The bun to meat ratio has got to be right.
See, that matters to me. That matters
absolutely.
to me.
The bun to meat ratio has got to be right, and a single Whopper, way too much bun for one piece of meat there.
Sure.
Way too much bun.
Yep.
And then for Wendy's, it's a smaller bun, but still, but still, double works on both. Now, honestly, for Wendy's, for double, there's not
right.
A lot of non-bun. And if you do a triple Wendy's, have you ever done a triple Wendy's?
Yeah, I've done the triple before.
That's when you're just disgustingly drunk.
My 23-year-old son that lives here, that's all he gets when we have a Wendy's up the street. And he's like, Dad, you want something from Wendy's? I'm like, yeah, I said, I'll just give me a double, give me a couple of doubles, right? And I'll have one now, and I'll have one again in a couple hours when I'm hungry again, right?
They keep well.
Yeah, they do. And I got
Don't put them in the fridge.
I got a fridge and a microwave right here if I need it in my room, so it's all good. And so he always gets like 2 triples. The dude is
triples,
6'3", 150 pounds. And this kid puts food away like I have never seen.
Oh, my God. 2 triples at one sitting.
Yeah, just back to back.
Wow.
And then the fries and the drink and Frosty if he wants. He'll go Frosty, too. Dude, this kid can eat, man.
Even in my prime, I couldn't do 2 triples.
But when I was his age, I looked like that, too. I'm 6'1", 100. I was like 140 pounds when I freaking graduated high school.
That's before you started having 4,000 calories a day of beer.
That's true.
It matters.
I was only having 2,000 back then.
Yeah, matters. Yeah, exactly. We all started drinking way earlier than we should have.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, but I got my go-to is the double Wendy's. It's nice.
It's good. Their food's good.
Yeah, it is good. But it also depends on individual stores now. It depends on if you find one where they make it right, stick with it because depending on who's managing it, it's just not as consistent as it used to be.
Should be.
All right, to the commenters, if you all want to comment on your favorite burger, please.
Yeah, please do. Or how many marriages that you've had.
Joseph Collins, why did Todd Bowles not blitz more? Cousins can't move. I kind of agree with that, but I did see him blitzing at times, and they weren't getting home.
Yeah, it wasn't successful. Home. Yeah,
and now you're left. Now your back end's exposed, and you don't want that, especially in Atlanta.
I'm not even going to ask.
Stop it. And because whatever. Now you got 4 or 5 back in coverage, and they couldn't. When they put 7 in coverage, they couldn't cover them. They were wide open. So I'm like, if you're Bowles, do you want to risk it because Cousins is a good quarterback? He's going to find somebody that's open, and clearly they're going to be open. And so I think it's not as easy as that, folks. It's not as easy as that. But Bowles is getting a lot of heat. Another stinker. This one from Nathan. Hello to all you others. Todd blew it Friday. See, Todd's getting all soft zone. It's hard to disagree. Here's my point, guys. Yes, he went soft zone way too much, but the man-to-man wasn't working either. I think it worked better. And it's just, Todd decides in these moments. And my offense is playing well. We can go score for score. I just don't want to give up any cheapies. I don't want to give up any cheapies because that's when the score gets really out of hand and you get a little demoralized.
Right.
So I think that's why I don't want to say, this is all to me. It's so much more on personnel, injuries, coming off the game. All that to me is way more important than what Todd was called. Did you see his face last night, Todd Bowles?
Several times.
Every time they say he's not emotional, he was like he really had to take a big one or something. I mean, he was like,
he was not happy.
Like all night long. It was just one pissed off face after another. It was, he was very disappointed in the way his team was playing. And again, I say it's more about the players and the situation than it was about him, but I'm not going to disagree totally. Jamel Dean, the fastest Buccaneer on the roster, can't read the wide receiver that is good for a first down. 80% of the throws thrown his way. Yeah, there was a late 3rd and 1. He's one-on-one with Drake London. He's giving him a 7-yard cushion. If you're getting paid that much money, you got it. And he's fast. He can run with guys. So why is he giving a 7-yard cushion?
Yeah.
On 3rd and 1. I don't get that. Nathan says, I'm tired of Dean in that soft zone. His best plays were when he was playing press man coverage. I agree. He gets beat in both, but I think he gets beat more in zone because it's so passive. He doesn't know how to play it. Zion McCullum missed the breakup and then tackle. Yeah, Zion did not play great last night. He did not play great, but those guys made a lot of plays. How about that Mooney touchdown? I think it was the first one where Cousins throws it between 3 guys, and Mooney goes up at the goal line and grabs it. Zion's right with him.
Right.
Just didn't make a play on the ball. I mean, you got to tip your cap sometimes to the other team. The Falcons are talented. You know, Drake London and Darnell Mooney are effing good. And Kyle Pitts, you know, when you actually throw him the ball, he was good last night.
Yeah.
Of course, we let him wide open, but, you know. Michael Sorgel says, as said by the campfire here this morning, win some, lose some, booze some. I think it's a great summary right there. It was a
He's
fun
sitting
night
by
of
a
watching
campfire
football.
right now. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I think, you know, it was a great night of football. A really, really great game last night. Even Al Michaels got excited.
For once.
For once, yeah. Nathan says a prevent offense killed the Bucs. David got the interception, and the offense failed to get a first down because they ran the ball 3 straight plays. I don't think they ran the ball 3 straight plays. They threw a backside screen. We went through the whole timeline of that, but they didn't throw the ball downfield. They definitely did not throw the ball downfield. Nathan says, why did Bucky have the back of Evans' jersey? That was weird. That was weird. He had the ball in one hand and he was grabbing his back of his jersey. He should have had both hands on the ball. He'll learn that. He'll learn it because I'm
Rookie
telling you,
mistake.
He was doing the slingshot move. He was getting ready to take off because I'm telling you, if he misses that, if that ball doesn't get punched out, I think Bucky saw that he was about to accelerate to the house.
He was drafting him. For all you NASCAR fans.
The slingshot on turn 3 at Daytona, right?
Slingshot past him at the goal line.
That's great. Good morning, Rick. Bucs defense has played in 2.5 games worth of plays in 5 days. Poor calling in the 4th. Yes, and that's what happens if your offense isn't staying on the field. Your defense is out there way too much. So if you're running a conservative, soft zone and you're saying, okay, you're going to have to matriculate the ball down the field. We'll give you small, but when we get to the red zone, we're going to tighten up. But the Bucs have done a good job of that. The residue of that is 11 and 12 play drives, eating up time. Your defense is on the field. Sure, they stopped them and held them to a field goal, but by the 4th quarter, you've played 83 plays. It's too much. It's too much for your defense. They're gassed, especially after last week. So you got to keep the ball on offense. James says, JP, yeah, you could say Bucs not aggressive in the second half, but they didn't have the ball much. Yeah, to your point, yeah. They scored twice, and then you had the last 2, one a fumble and the other the missed face mask. Offense, not the issue. There were a lot of bad calls. And that spotting of the ball at the end of the game. The Bucs didn't play it well, and the ref, I've never seen a ref do that, run by the ball and touch it because the center put it down.
First time I've ever seen that. That's just weird. I would love to hear a response from the league about that.
Yeah, that was I don't think that was correctly adjudicated.
No.
In the legal terms. Bucs defense made the play with 1:44 left. Levante picks the ball off. The missed face mask. We wouldn't about the D, but had Bucs got the field goal, and Denver with 0 timeouts needing a D, or Atlanta. I think what you're saying is, once again, that the 1:44 left, you get a pick, you should win that game. And you're right. You should. The officials blew it, and the Bucs weren't aggressive enough. They got a bad penalty. Yeah, not good. Bucs too good this year. If we get healthy, they will go to New Orleans and win. I agree. I totally agree. It's a good football team. That's what I'm concerned about. Rick says it took the Falcons to have a record-breaking night at home in overtime with bad refs and a depleted team to win on a short week. True.
Yeah.
100% true.
Good observation.
Yeah, and they played well. They made some big plays. They made some really, really good plays. You got to give them credit for that. You know, other team gets paid too. Michael
Kirk Cousins looks like a different quarterback to me in this offense than he did even in Minnesota. He looks different to me, like in a good way.
Well, he's got a lot more weapons.
Yeah.
He's got a lot more weapons. Michael LaRue says Todd Bowles is not a great game manager. Yes, you are correct. The Bucs need to work on their 4-minute offense. 2 possessions with less than 4 minutes to go, and the Bucs can't finish the game. 100%.
Ding, ding, 100%. Ding.
Yep. Also, a net 22-yard punt at the end of the game. Hey, listen, I wrote it down. 27, 37, and 32. Josh Hayes. I don't know. I'm trying to think who 37 is. I think it's Tavier Thomas. The ball hit at the 2-yard line. You were worried about the returner who juked you or deked you. And the ball, if you pick up the ball and follow the ball, you're catching it at the 2-yard line. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
It's not on the punter. Phil did his job. Punter did his job. By the way, whatever happened to the coffin corner?
You never hear. You know what? There's 2 things in football you never hear anymore in the NFL: coffin corner punt and clipping penalties. Don't call it clipping anymore.
All blocking in the back.
I miss
that. If you're punting from the 50-yard line, okay, you've got 20 yards. 20 yards. If you can't hit that directionally, you suck.
Yeah, but you know what else is happening in the NFL? Remember the rule used to be don't catch the ball inside the 10-yard line. Yeah. You have guys calling for fair catches at the 3 now.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, that for me, the punter, you're relying on the guy to go down there, look up, catch the ball, stop it from going into the end zone. When you could just directionally, if you can't from the 50, I'm talking about, if you can't directionally kick it inside the 10-yard line out of bounds, you suck. You suck.
Maybe punters just suck now.
Don't rely on that. Well, you might try and directionally kick. You tend to shank the ball. I don't want to hear any of that.
There's no Ray guys out there anymore, JP. Ray guys is gone.
If that's all you do for a living, you can't punt that. You shouldn't be a professional punter. That's all I'm saying. All right.
No more Frank Garcias.
CJC22 says on the screen, throw it downfield. It's a legal man downfield. It's called a clearance route. He is no way part of the play, period. Oh, with Evans going deep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. When you're calling a backside screen, if you throw the ball down the field, you don't throw it behind the line, you're going to get a lineman downfield. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's a good pickup there, TJC22.
As usual.
Yeah, Bucs defenders have to know when to lay on the ball carrier at the end of the game. Yeah, we mentioned that, Michael. Atlanta wouldn't have had the 1 second to kick the game-tying field goal. Details matter. And got to get this in. Stu just broke his piggy bank to make an offer to Pete Alonso. Well, here's the payoff part of it. Not to pay him, just to pay an intern to leak it to the Times. We're in on Pete Alonso. Oh, sorry. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Jeff Thidoff, Tito's going to join us with fantasy football information for you. He's a professional fantasy football player. How about that? So if you got any questions about your team, and I do, put them in the comment section, and we'll hit them with that. We are brought to you by the great Cafe Paradiso. My good friend Paulo Dini is the proprietor there, and they make some great Italian food, man. Treat yourself this weekend. Go get some lasagna or some branzino or the fresh veal. Oh, the veal parm there. Holy moly.
Oh, I can't wait to try that.
Oh, veal parm is so good. Yeah, when you get here to the new studio, we're going to Cafe Paradiso. Hell yeah. We go drink us some wine, get some Italian food. Cafe Paradiso, number 3 on the open table list of top 10 restaurants in Tampa Bay. How about that? Go there. Tell them JP sent you back in 3. Discover a world of elegance and sophistication at the Golden Diamond Source. Whether you're searching for your first piece or celebrating a special milestone, their expert team is here to guide you every step of the way. Navigating the world of fine jewelry can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to helping you choose the perfect piece, ensuring you feel confident and informed. At the Golden Diamond Source, they pride themselves on offering only the highest quality jewelry. From stunning engagement rings to timeless watches, each piece is crafted with precision and care. So take advantage of their 5 years interest-free financing. This means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. And if you're new to buying diamonds, their first-time buyer program will educate you on the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat, and help you understand the different shapes and sizes available. Go enjoy the great staff at the Golden Diamond Source. You'll be family forever. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is 2-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Gettys Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Gettys Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by extravaganzaproductions.com. If you got a big event coming up or a small event, professional event, a birthday, charity event, anything like that where you need the professionals to set it up, do some audio-visual magic, or even come up with some great props and creative ideas, Extravaganza Productions, those are your folks to get her done. Paul Thomason, Dolly Brown over there, great friends, and I've worked with them many times. That's why I can wholeheartedly endorse them for any event. They'll do it, large or small. Extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you. They'll give you a free creative meeting over there. Go say hello. Sit in their Game of Thrones throne. They have a throne.
Oh, no.
It's really nice.
Like a replica? I've seen that. I've never seen the show, but I've seen the throne that they have.
Yeah, it's a really cool one, too. It's like, looks exactly like it. So you take your pictures up there.
Really?
Yeah. Slit somebody's throat, put a sword through them, you know.
Are you a fan of that show?
Oh, huge fan.
Never
huge
seen it.
Game of Thrones, dragons, all that stuff. Although the dragons this year was terrible fun.
Do the dragons like speak English? Do they talk? I mean, I don't know what kind of show this is.
Dragons don't speak. They just spit fire and fry people.
Well, on some shows. On my kids' shows, Puff the Magic Dragon can talk, okay?
Oh, we know who Puff the Magic Dragon was, baby. We know who that guy was. Yeah. Yes. No, it's not that kind of dragons. These are a killer dragons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not Barney the dinosaur. Ooh.
I love you.
Don't you dare.
You love
Tito's like
me.
in the back, like in the back, like listening to all this nonsense. Like, I don't even. Do I want to join this show?
It's been a
Jesus
show.
Christ.
Tito, it's been a
Talking
show,
dragons, Barney the dinosaur. What the F is going on? This is what happens when the home team loses. It just the whole show evolves into this nonsense crap.
We did a whole segment on Wendy's social media earlier.
Yeah, we did, and triples and doubles.
Hey, I did a show the other day on we did a segment on the fan on it was about goose and gander and where it came from and gaggle and like what the different phrases meant and how like what a gander is and all that. We did a whole segment.
That's some old English bullshit there.
A bunch of bird watchers were like chiming in the chat with correcting us on all these things.
Oh my
and
gosh.
somebody actually said the word waterfowl, and I contend that if you use the word waterfowl versus just saying bird, you're a pretentious SOB.
Yes, you are.
You have too much time in your vocabulary.
Waterfowl, whatever.
It's called a duck.
Yeah, go get in your automobile and get off my lawn.
Is there any other waterfowl besides a duck? Well, I guess you got your
Goose.
geese, you got your swans.
I think we came out a seagull. I don't think is a waterfowl. We're sure about penguin. Is a penguin a waterfowl? The bird doesn't fly.
Penguin's
But
definitely a water. Well, it doesn't
there's
fly. That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. See, now I've carried it over to this. Hey,
Yeah.
JP, I was out in Vegas last week. Before I went out there, I thought, I know Pete Rose always does autograph signings in Vegas. I thought it'd be kind of cool if I could just like do a quick 5-minute interview with him and then use it on one of my shows or whatever. And so I reached out to his agent and he said, I wish we could, but Pete's in Nashville this weekend, so we can't do it. When he gets back, maybe we'll see about setting something up. And then I came so close to getting
So you
an interview.
killed Pete Rose?
You know what? You could say I killed him, but I could have been his last interview.
Wow.
You could see this mug on like CNN and ESPN and stuff, but alas.
You'd be YouTube famous.
I asked Tom Brady his last football question of his press conference life.
You did?
I did.
What was the question? Do you remember?
That's something stupid.
It should have been his last question ever, but some idiot jumped in at the very end.
Yeah, that's really good. What kind of tie are you going to wear tomorrow? Like, as he's walking out, and no, that doesn't count. I had the last question.
I had the last one. It was me.
That's not even a question.
Right.
That's not even a question. That doesn't count. Strike it from the record.
Right.
Like, do not put it on the transcript.
I object.
I object.
Right.
I had the last question.
Follow up with Tom. Did you hear that question? Then you got the last one again.
Exactly. He didn't even answer. He's walking
Right.
off. It was the walk-off question. Those don't count. That's out of bounds. I had the
agree.
last question.
I've been watching too
I'm
much
sure it was
Perry
something
Mason.
snarky about an interception that he threw. I should go back and I have it on my phone. I have it on my phone, so I'll go back and review that.
Relive that.
Yeah, it would. No, as I recall, it was a rare good question for me and a thoughtful answer from Tom. Well, anyway, we digress. I missed Tom on the broadcast last night. I had to listen to that idiot Herb Street. Which, by the way, I mean, just stop doing pro football, bro. Stop the money grab. You and Al are the worst team in. Are they not the worst play-by-play analyst?
It's pretty
bad. There've been some bad ones. I take that back, but they're for primetime TV. Al Michaels way past his prime, don't give a shit, and Kirk Herbstreit, who does not know NFL football. No.
The old Monday Night Football booth with like when it was Gifford and O.J. Simpson and Fran Tarkenton. That was pretty bad too.
Oh, that was a good one. No, what do you mean?
What about the Dennis Miller years? Tony Kornheiser.
I
like the Dennis Miller stuff.
I got in this
I'm
argument.
Stupid, I know.
Yeah, but Kornheiser was terrible.
Kornheiser was terrible.
I never really watch a game. I never watch a game for the announcers. And honestly, I don't pay attention to them most of the time. Usually I think like I'm multitasking. I'm probably watching the games on. I'm probably following something else on my phone, fantasy football stuff, whatever, talking to the kids, doing
you're not paying
other things.
Announcers are so overrated.
Yeah.
I've never watched the game for an announcer.
Right.
I've never turned one off because of an announcer. Maybe came close.
Yeah.
But no.
Only
It's like
only when they're women.
And when
hey, my stepdad, I was gonna say rest in peace, but my
what is it?
stepdad though
11:40. Yeah, when we went through an hour 40 without a horrible misogynistic comment. That's pretty good for us, actually.
My stepdad was such an asshole that when he would watch games or TV at all, like any kind of sports, if it was a sports center, if it was a game, whenever a woman would start talking, he would mute it. I was like that's bad.
Stop.
He did. I swear to you. It was awful.
You know what?
dead
The
now, so it's
exception to
okay.
that rule for me is Doris Burke.
Okay.
She can do whatever she wants.
Listen, I don't have any problem
No,
with
I'm not
whether
listening
matter
to
whether what gender it is. Are you
Yeah.
good or you're not? There's plenty of bad play-by-play guys.
Oh, yeah.
And,
for
and
sure.
you know who you are, Joe Buck.
Oh, come on.
You
Well,
should
I
have heard me
scratched my
call a
back
high
here
school
over there.
football game recently. That was bad.
Yeah.
I like Joe Buck.
I think he's way too understated. I think he's way too understated, and I don't. And smug and it's a lot.
Well, he's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, but give me
Probably
some
bored.
emotion. Add some emotion to the game. You know.
Well, he does when he calls Cardinals games.
Yeah. Okay.
If I were Al
It's
Michaels,
such a personal preference. It's like food or wine or beer or whatever.
Yeah.
He's just is he good? Yes, he's great. He's great at what he does. He's fantastic. He's just personally, it's not my cup of tea. I like Gene Deckerhoff yelling and screaming and being the biggest homer possible. That's what I like. And I know he can't do that on a national broadcast.
If I were Al Michaels, I would lean in, and every game I do, I would find a reason to say, "Do you believe in miracles?" Yes. No matter what, just find some moment in the game and just
that won't be
that line.
contrived at all.
Do that all the time. Every game, just find a moment. Maybe it's a 4th and 1 in the third quarter.
To repeat his most famous
Just
line
keep
of all
saying
time.
it every time.
All right, aren't we supposed to be talking about fantasy football here?
I think so. It's the first wave of bye weeks. Philadelphia, Detroit, Tennessee, and the Chargers are all off. So Detroit probably you're missing players on that because of all the lines you'd start usually. Also Philadelphia, although they've had injuries lately. Not so much with Tennessee, not so much with the Chargers, but you have to make adjustments on your bye weeks there. But the Detroit one really hits because of St. Brown, and with Goff played pretty well lately, obviously.
Yes.
And you've got the running back duo.
Saquon Barkley is not playing.
Saquon
this
Barkley
week.
is Philly, right? That's a big loss on those.
Yes.
But a huge game for Cousins last night. That was fun to watch. Over 500 yards for him. And I heard you say, JP, that was a great game. It was a great game to watch, regardless of the outcome you were rooting for.
Yeah.
And it was perfect because there was so much offense in it. Like, it had to affect your fantasy team one way or another. Either you got a great game or your opponent got a great game with all the touchdowns flying. The Mike Evans had a good game. Bijan didn't do much, but welcome back to the NFL, Kyle Pitts, with his 8-catch game.
I started him last night.
Yep, so did I. I started him also. I started
over
Mooney
Kate
last
Otten,
night.
So yeah.
Yep.
I also I had to choose between the Packers defense and the Bucs defense, and I'm like, short week. Falcons didn't even score an offensive touchdown last week. The Buccaneers defense has been pretty good. I know they're going to be beat up and tired, but I think they'll just maybe get a couple takeaways. That's a strong -6 for my defense last night.
There's a lot of people that have bought into the theory of not drafting a defense and just pick one up every week and just stream it. And I've done that with a couple of teams, just had success doing that. Just like, first of all, if you ever enter draft, I know this is early or late to say it or early for next year, don't ever draft a defense if you're going to draft one till the very end, just the last pick, because it's going to move throughout the year in standard leagues.
What if you're mandatory to take 2 defenses and 2 kickers like my league?
No, that's awful if you did. Still, I still wait till the last 2 picks. It's mandatory on that. But for instance, a defense that didn't get drafted that much, I don't think, but now is I'm all over the Broncos defense this week going against the Raiders. The Broncos have given up just 29 points in their last 3 games. The Raiders aren't going to be able to throw the ball on them, especially with Devontae Adams not playing again this week because of his request trade hamstring. But but the Broncos defense have a lot of success against the Raiders. That's one I've been streaming quite a bit. Also, Seattle's got the Giants in Seattle. I expect success there. So, if you're looking to stream a defense, that's the way I would go.
Yeah, I just picked up Troy Sermon, who's the backup to Jonathan Taylor, and I'm going to start him this week since I don't have Saquon or Tony Pollard. So, and I don't think Jonathan Taylor is playing. Do you think Taylor's playing? I don't
think Taylor's going to play. I bet he doesn't play. I would expect it to. And Trey Sermon's a good pickup. We know him here in Columbus because he had a great run for the Buckeyes at the end of the one season where he came in for a couple of injured players and had he might have set the Big Ten title game record for most rushing yards, if I'm not mistaken. But he was great here, and he's one of those guys who, much like Cardale Jones a few years back also, that just came on at the end and kind of came out of nowhere almost, and led in the last few games in the postseason for the Buckeyes. Sermon's talented, so I think, I'd play Sermon.
Tito, we start London games, NFL Euro games this week. is I wanted to pick your brain. Is there a different approach that you take or that team owners should take when looking at these London games? For example, Garrett Wilson for the Jets has kind of been a disappointment in fantasy this year.
Sure.
But he's playing a Vikings team that if it was over here in just a normal week, look, they allow the most passing yards in the league, the fourth most fantasy points to wide receivers.
Right.
Vikings opponents have the league's highest pass rate at 71% this season. This should be a game that Garrett Wilson breaks out in fantasy points and has a good week. Does the fact that they're in London and time change and does that change that at all, or do you play it just like a regular week?
No, I would still play Garrett Wilson, usually when it comes to the London games and games overseas in general. But I typically look at the weather more than anything else, because you can obviously get quite a bit of rain out there, moisture in over there across the pond there. But so I usually look at that more than anything. The Jets thing, and the Wilson could end up having a Kyle Pitts type bounce this week, because there's been a lot of talk about the fact that Rodgers here are not connecting. He is too damn talented. Part of the reason is there hasn't been a lot of other viable options for as far as catching passes. And now Mike Williams getting ramped up again. Williams will play more this week, and that should take some of the heat off of Garrett Wilson. And I think he'll be able to get open more. And after the offensive showing or offensive showing the Jets had last week, I would expect a bounce back there.
Are you saying that as a fantasy football analyst, or are you saying that as an Ohio State homer?
That's a great question.
I need to know which Tito I'm talking to here.
Would we get fined if I showed you the Ohio State tattoo on the small of my back? No, I think
I don't want to see that. Don't worry about the fines. We don't want to see any of that.
Tito's tramp stamp.
At least I hope that's what it is. But they told me once they put it on. I've never looked at it. It could be a rose for all I know.
It's a Michigan M.
It could be that.
It says insert here with an arrow down.
It's an arrow. It's an arrow.
That's what it says. In case you didn't know, that's why you get
Tito's wife on the show.
You get those look at the beach. Yeah, sure, big boy. All right, I got these receivers: McLaurin, Ayuk, Odunze, Nico Collins, and Jamar Chase. No one should have a receiving core like that. That's the greatest receiving core in fantasy history. I got to choose two out of those superstars.
I'm going Collins and Chase. I'm going with Collins and Chase on that one. I think those are the ones to play. Collins has been fantastic this year. And
he's the league in receiving.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who, he could end up being the number one fantasy receiver by the end of the year. He's got a great connection with Stroud, so I play him, and I like Chase as well. I think that Ravens-Bengals game is going to be a very high-scoring game. I think it could be a shootout there, because the Bengals are going to have to do that to compete. They're going to have to score a lot of points, and we know the Ravens can score a lot of points. So, yeah, I would go with Chase in that one, and certainly go with Nico.
Here's the one caveat, though. I'm behind 31-21. I played three players last night. He had Drake London last night.
Right.
So I may have to maximize, and I got Jaden Daniels as my starting quarterback, so I could handcuff him with Terry McLaurin.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, and sometimes that makes sense in a situation like that, because, you want to get the double points for the touchdown when it happens.
Right.
And that there's a good possibility of that. But I personally just stick with, the receiver itself is going to do that. And, Washington playing Cleveland this week, it should be a good matchup, obviously, for McLaurin. And Jaden Daniels has been amazing. But I wonder if they're going to take a little bit of a step back this week, just because there's no way Jaden Daniels can keep up this pace. 80% completion percentage and looking as good as he does. It feels like this week, this could be a more difficult game for them. It's a must win for the Browns. Washington's playing with house money already this season with what they've done so far. So I would still roll with Chase and with Nico, but I would not get mad at you if you decide to go the other way and start Daniels if you wanted to try to go for that. If you feel like Washington's going to score a lot of points, I just don't see it being that high scoring.
Yeah, Cleveland's pretty good defense, as far as I know. Got any sit-ems or daily fantasy or play 'em guys this week? Who you like?
Well, I was going to go some buy low guys, and like Patrick Mahomes is somebody who for the last almost, I guess, 12 games or so he's played, he's been a below average or average fantasy football quarterback. And a lot of reasons for that to happen. But, the fact he's also had receiver injuries, also the running game last year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a huge disappointment. So, things like that all play into it. And they played very close games this year. But I think he bounces back. He's somebody I would buy low on in fantasy football. That's somebody I would look at and try to approach the owner of that player and try to maybe get Mahomes, and you should be able to get him on the cheap on that one. And now I'd buy low on Bucky Irving as well after last night's game. I know that White looked good and he had a better game, but Bucky Irving's gonna be the running back of the future there. I like him quite a bit. I like Chase Brown, Cincinnati. These secondary running backs you didn't necessarily expect to have big roles. Chase Brown for Cincinnati, another one, and Jonathan Brooks in Carolina. He's gonna be coming back here pretty soon. If he's available in your league, like as a free agent, go get him. If you have to put him on your IR for a week, go do that, whatever. But he's going to end up having a big role in this Carolina offense. People are excited about Chuba Hubbard, but it's going to end very soon, the Hubbard train, and you're going to see Brooks get some carries.
All right. Anything else from you, Timmy?
No, I think that's it. Thoughts on the Buckeyes this week?
Yeah, it's they're favored by 19.5 against Iowa, and Iowa's offense, although improved. And by the way, Luke Lachey, their tight end, is the son of Jim Lachey, who is a radio play-by-play guy for the Ohio State here on the ESPN on the Fan. But so he'll be calling that game. But I think that Ohio State will cover that spread. It wouldn't surprise if Iowa does not score a touchdown. Iowa's got a great running game, but Ohio State adjusts well to that. They played more 4-3 last week against Michigan State than the 5-2 they normally play. But I think Ohio State will cover. I think I'm looking at like a 35-6 kind of game for Ohio State there.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Very good.
I'll put that down on my bet sheet. All right. Thanks, Tito. Appreciate it, buddy.
You bet, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend.
All right. We got time for another break here.
All we got left is our picks. So, all right.
Well,
do whatever you want.
Let's do our picks then. Let's do our picks and say thank you to all our great sponsors out there. The Jeeves Law Group, of course, who brought you the Gator Report. If you have any issues with your insurance company during this hurricane relief, make sure you call them and they can represent you. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, BAMMC.com. Go get your appointment there. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Get your flood insurance if you do not have it. The Golden Diamond Source, always a great place to shop, especially around Christmas time coming up. Get it done quickly. Geddes Gordon Group for all your real estate needs, Extravaganza Productions, and Third Generation Plumbing and AC. They do AC as well. Spoke with John Rodriguez earlier this week. If you have had a unit that has been damaged, he said salt water does a lot of long-term damage, so clean it with soap and water lightly. Make sure it's not powered. Turn it off before you touch the AC unit, before you touch the wires. But once you get it turned off, then clean all those parts that are part of the condenser and all that stuff, and get the salt water off it, and then try to light it up when you put the power back on. So good luck with that. And if you need a new unit, which you probably will, make sure you go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. thirdgenerationplumbing.com is the website. You can contact them through there. Great folks over there. You can trust them, which is important.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into our picks, JP.
All right.
We recap from last week. Out of a possible 12 points for each of us every week, because we pick 6 games, the line and the total. JP, you got 5 points. I got a measly 4 points.
Oh, we both suck.
Yeah, we both suck. We both missed on the USF Tulane game on the over and the USF. But we both nailed Bucs. We both nailed Detroit. We both lost out on we picked the Bills over the Ravens. That was an egg. And we both won on SMU at Florida State at SMU.
Of course.
And then missed out on because Colorado whooped UCF. So, it is what it is.
All right, let's do this.
Yes, for those of you, we picked Florida State, Florida, USF games, and then we picked Bucs, Cowboys, and Monday Night Football for the pros. Win like a week.
Do I get credit for picking the Bucs to lose?
Well, we didn't do picks for the show, though, because they played last night. So because they played last night,
okay,
we're going Jets at Vikings in London instead of the Bucs game.
I just don't see how the Vikings continue this. It's, at some point they have to catch up. And, the Jets, I think, are a bit of a mess as well. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with the Vikings just because I don't like the Jets.
Yeah, I hate Aaron Rodgers. I can never pick anything on him. By the way, it's Jets plus 1.5 at the Vikings now is what I had as of this morning.
Okay.
And I've still got Minnesota. Total is 40.
I'm going to take the under because the fields there are so bad and they don't usually score a lot of points. I'm going to take the under.
I've got the over because I'm hoping it's 40-0 Vikings.
Oh, okay.
That's my guess.
All right.
Continuing in the NFL, JP, Cowboys +1 at Steelers with a total of 45.5.
I'm going Steelers because the Cowboys suck and they can't stop the run. And the total is 45.5.
45.5.
I'm going to go under because the Steelers play great defense.
I also have Pittsburgh in the under, although if Dallas has a chance, it's going to be dinking and doinking their passes with Dak and CD inside 10 yards. That could be an issue there for the Steelers defense. Then Monday Night Football, Saints +5.5 at the Chiefs with a total of 43.5.
Yeah, the Chiefs have not been good offensively at all. Mahomes is not really good right now. But their defense is one of the best in the league. I think their defense wins today, so I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. And I'll take the Chiefs.
Chiefs in 43.5.
And I'll keep the under there as well.
All right, I've got New Orleans in the over. I think this is the week that the Chiefs are a little bit vulnerable. I think it's going to happen at home, and crossing my fingers that the Saints can score more than 20 points.
All right,
so
we shall see.
College football, JP.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson -15.5 at
I got
Florida
it at
State.
15. Yeah. The easiest bet of the day, of the year, of the millennium. It's Clemson by 40.
Clemson by 40. So
Clemson by 40. What's the total?
46.5 total.
Yeah, they'll score 50. So, yeah. It'll
Clemson
be
in the over.
50-0. Yep.
I'm going to say Clemson in the under. SMU +6.5 at Louisville because we didn't have USF, so I tried to stay ACC centric here. But SMU +6.5 at Louisville. At Louisville, they say it so weird up there.
Louisville.
With a
SMU's not great.
56-point total.
Louisville over. Neither one of them can play defense.
Agreed. And over 56 or under?
Over. Over 56.
I've got SMU in an upset.
Ooh. Homer.
And I'm going to take the over on that as well. I'm kind of an SMU homer. And then finally, JP, UCF -2.5 at Florida with a 62-point total. That seems like a lot.
That's a lot of points. Well, both defenses are not good.
Yeah.
But I think KJ Jefferson beat him there last year. He'll do it again. So I'm going to go UCF, and that's a lot of points, but these defenses both suck. So I'll go over.
Over. Wow. I'm taking JP. I'm taking Florida and the under. Just cause. No specific reason. Florida's got to win sometime, right? I mean,
you're a big fan of Billy Napier. You're a Sunbelt Billy guy. So I can see that.
A little bit. He saves his job for another week.
Well, he'll have lots of time to spend with you fishing after this week.
I just don't have to travel to Florida to do it.
The two of you can go pull up a few bass out of Lake Mary. How's that?
I mean, sure. I'm not against that.
Right? Who doesn't like get a couple of bass to throw in the plate? Caitlin Clark wins the Rookie of the Year because the players didn't vote on it.
Yep.
Otherwise, it would have been Diana Taurasi in her last year. Yes, I know she's not a rookie, but that's the point.
Exactly.
The Savannah Bananas are going to play at Tropicana Field.
What?
In March. And the best part about it is I'm going to go.
You have to go.
I'm going to go because I guess some of the money goes to Stu, but not much. Anyway, Savannah Bananas, I'll get a press pass.
Yeah, there you go.
March 15th and 16th. And here's the great part about it. They're going to open the upper deck.
Oh, for the Bananas. Who are they playing? The Rays?
They're opening the open deck. They're opening the upper deck. What they can't fill it for the Rays, but they can fill it for the Bananas.
Does that guy still for the Bananas? The guy that's on stilts? Does he still play?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do the whole thing. It's a great show. It's a fantastic
I love that
show.
whole bit. Yep.
Yeah, and you got to get in a lottery to get the tickets. Isn't that just a slap in the face though to the Rays? They're opening the upper deck.
Rightfully so.
Because you guys can't sell those tickets, but the Savannah Bananas can.
Wow.
I think that says something. Connor Geeky gets a 1-game suspension for beating the shiz out of Davies the other night. Boy, did he just tune that dude. Left, I guess, because he left the bench to go beat somebody up. But everybody loved it. Good for you, kid. It's an exhibition game. You don't have to. You're going to make the team anyway at some point. So good on you. What else? I think that's about it. I think we covered it all. All right. Thank you, my friend Tim. Well done. Thank you to all our great commenters. Ryan Patrick McDonald says, what's up, buddy? Heading to Gainesville. Go Gators. Okay. I just picked UCF. You hate me, don't you?
I picked the Gators.
You did.
Yeah.
The LG moved on the spike. JTS and they were called for a penalty. Penalty would have ended the game. What's that?
Yeah. We're calling for a penalty.
JTS, they were calling for it. Yeah, they're absolutely right. I put something up on Twitter. Go watch that last play. They don't spot the ball that way. That's not the way it's done. Yep. But anyway, game's over. Stop crying, Bucs guy. Right. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go Noles. I put a large bet on Clemson. The Noles are going to win. I'm telling you. We'll see. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.